First time I've seen this one. Not a bad idea here. You get anything else besides the same thing I got?
This is all they want to know.
Let's see where we're going here.
Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call to order a joint public hearing with the Plan Commission and Town Board on Thursday, June 13th, 2013 at 6:30. All members of the Town Board and the Plan Commission are present. And I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And first on our agenda tonight, notice is hereby given. There will be a public hearing before the Joint Plan Commission and Town Board at the Town Hall Thursday, June 13th, 2013 at 6:30 p.m. to consider the following matter. Public hearing number 1, rezone a parcel from R1 Single Family Residence and C1 Conservancy District to P1 Park, Recreation, and Public District and C1 Conservancy District. Property owners are Five Diamonds Inc. and petitioner is Tom Kelnick, and they are seeking, applicant seeks approval of a rezone to a district compatible with the approved use. And I open it up to public comment.
Is this parcel you're talking about, Merrill Hills?
No, sir, this is for the Five Diamonds Complex. Merrill
Okay.
Hills is coming up.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Evening.
My name is Patricia O'Day. I live at 2220 Deer Path, and I ask that the board do not extend the operating hours of Five Diamonds. Due to the noise the complex creates and the way the sound travels late in the evening, I would find it a burden to live in close proximity and not be able to open my windows until 10:30 at night. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
My name is Stacy Blank. I live at West 229 South 3876 Milky Way Road. I'd like to address two issues regarding Five Diamonds and Infinity Fields. First, the request to be rezoned to P1 or Park. I believe Five Diamonds should not be rezoned as P1 or Park. The reason is simple: it's not a park. It's a privately owned for-profit recreational facility. It is only open to those who pay to have access to it. Unless the owners plan to deed ownership to the town, become a nonprofit, or create free and open access to everyone, a zoning of parks shouldn't be considered. Sure, baseball fields fall under a broad definition of what type of facilities may be classified under P1. I don't believe this facility qualifies. In order to have access to the fields, to bat there even once, a child needs to pay $450 for just one season. And if a relative wants to come, watch a tournament, get out your wallet again. Tournament fees are not included in the $450 fee. Five Diamonds charges an additional entrance fees. Compare those fees by the Blazers, the home team of Five Diamonds, to the City of Waukesha's own park and rec fees. The city's fees are a tiny fraction of what's charged by the private clubs like Blazers. Another organization that pays to play at the Five Diamonds Infinity Fields is Catholic Memorial High School. They recently paid the owners of Infinity Fields, Mr. Kelnick and Mr. Beatty, $90,000 for a multi-year playing deal. That's a lot of money to play in a place that may be zoned as a park. If Five Diamonds is rezoned as a park, it should be open and accessible to everyone, whether or not you pay to play. Secondly, the annual review of the conditional use permit. I'm a neighbor of Five Diamonds. I can sum up their first year by simply saying, I don't think that they've been a good neighbor. They have many times not followed the rules of the conditional use permit, and this has been well documented. They have opened too early, they've stayed open too late, they have been noisy, they have used amplification systems when they shouldn't have. These are all outlined in their conditional use permit that they agreed to. I think there also needs to be a mechanism in place to monitor the conditional use permit and the terms that were put in place for the rules at Infinity Fields. Again, in general, I think that they have not been a good neighbor. I am for baseball, I am for the fields, I have said that from the beginning, but I think the rules do need to be enforced. I think there needs to be a mechanism in place to enforce the rules that were agreed to for Five Diamonds and Infinity Fields, and that's what I would like to see from the town board. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Anybody else? Going once?
I'm smiling in the back, and as I would speak. Angie Dansock, South 51, West 25375, Glendale Road, Town of Waukesha. The process by which this is being asked for rezoning, I believe, is inappropriate. The land use plan indicates that this area is residential. The proper process is for this to go first through the land use planning process, and that happens once a year. Toward the end of the year, we look at them all. The county then reviews that land use change, and if you find it appropriate and they find it appropriate, the next step is to come back for rezoning. That is what was required of Walgreens. That has been what's required of all previous petitioners. It's very questionable that this is being pushed through as a joint rezoning land use plan change. I've never seen it done. I've sat on the plan commission since 1995. So I would question why it's being presented in this way. Second of all, it seems like an obvious attempt to remove conditions. They were not able to abide by the conditional use permit that they agreed to over the course of several years. They are now coming in and asking for a park. I'm assuming, and certainly the planner can confirm this, that there would be no conditional use permit because this would be a permitted use under the P1 zoning. I don't think that's an appropriate choice given that we're surrounded by residential property. There are 6 residential homes that have yet to be built. This is lot 7 of a 7-acre or a 7 unit subdivision. There were 7 different lots of the subdivision. So they are surrounded by residential property. And we also have to look to what this property would be in the future. This is spot zoning. It was not designated on either the county or the town maps as P1. And I believe it's inappropriate for this to be requested this time in this way, given their history. They are surrounded by residential properties. They have an existing conditional use permit. They have been given the opportunity to have their business within that district, and there's simply no reason to change it at this point.
Thank you. Anybody else want to speak on the Five Diamonds rezoning?
Hi, Andrew Dietsky, South 40, West 22221, Rolling Oaks Terrace. I'm one of the individuals that was greatly impacted by Five Diamond, so much so I did build back in the town where I did live for 8 years on Dale Drive. My house on Hunter Road is for sale, and I am getting comments, negative comments about Five Diamonds. So it is hindering the sale of our house. The lights are bright, there is glare, there is an ordinance that the town has that there is not supposed to be glare. Extending the hours are just not good for all the residents around. It should be taken into consideration that from 7 a.m. to 10:30 p.m. would only be 8.5 hours of downtime from noise and then lights at nighttime. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Going once?
Colette Krzyzanowski, West 254, South 4360, Pin Oak Lane. If I'm understanding this correctly, they're proposing that you change this to a park, a private park. That's not open to the public. It's not for the benefit of the town residents. It's not for the general public to come and use as the park over here that we have next to our town hall facility. That's open to the public. Anybody can go there anytime. This is private property, and it's treated as a private business. It's for profit, but I guess that would give them a tax break or something. I don't understand the implications of changing it to a park, but I'm sure it's for their benefit. And it's a for-profit business. And so I don't think we should be in the business of creating privately owned parks in the town of Waukesha. If you want to create a park, make it a public park that's open to everybody for free. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on Five Diamonds? Going once? Going twice? Then we'll close that section of the public hearing and move on to Five Diamonds, the annual review of the conditional use permit. Is there anybody that would like to speak on that? Looks as though not. And then we would close that one.
No.
Nope.
All right, Angie Vansack, South 51, West 25375, Glendale Road. Part of the review tonight is a waiving of bills over the time that Five Diamonds has been in front of us as a group. I have been in the position of both Plan Commission member and town chair during the time that those expenses were incurred. Five Diamonds has not honored their commitment to pay their fees. Those fees are due and payable. Part of any approval, including their annual review and the conditional use permit and any and all approvals that they got, were part and parcel of agreeing to pay any and all fees and expenses associated with that. Any and all fees and expenses associated with that were by their wish. They may make a claim tonight that a meeting was held and called by me and they should not be responsible for those expenses. That is inaccurate. Their attorney called for a meeting. We needed to be prepared for that meeting. That took both Roger and the engineer to prepare. That work would have needed to be done for this evening or any other meeting. Those expenses are due and payable. The fact is, if this town board, through the annual review or another process, waives any of those fees, us as taxpayers are responsible. The fees are through engineering. They are through planning. Those expenses have been paid. Our taxpayers have paid them. And every other petitioner, every other individual, every other company that comes to the town of Waukesha honors this commitment, recognizes this commitment. I can tell you as a chairman, it was always a push to have them honor their commitments and pay their fees. It was always a problem. And we've had this conversation with them a number of times, They are now here to have them waived, not one, not two, but I see the entire packet of bills that we've been talking about them is in the system. So there was no additional information that showed what their request is, but given the fact that all the bills, including Deerfield Estates, which again was their request, they came to us twice in Deerfield Estates for reduction of the letter of credit. That was their choice. We didn't initiate it. Mr. Janelli needed to do a review to get back to them and be responsive. Those are not expenses that the town of Waukesha taxpayer should pay. That is for the petitioner, the owner of this property, the person that incurred the expenses. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else on Five Diamonds? And we'll close that section of the public hearing and move on to